there's some large databases you can apply to, and they will sort of walk you through the entire process. They'll sort of hold your hand through it and help you find a job. There are smaller recruiters, like some based in Chicago, all over the country, who can do the same thing but on a smaller scale. Or you could do what I did, which is just go to the country you're wanting to teach in and walk around and try to find a job. So I kind of did things the not so easy way, but I think I learned a lot by doing it like that.
I think you mentioned you taught in South Korea. There are opportunities all over the world. So you could go anywhere in Asia, South America, Europe, the Middle East. Asia is where you're going to find a lot of these benefits that some of you may have heard of already. So you can get your airfare reimbursed, you can get your housing paid for. But really what I was talking about with someone earlier is it's all about what you want to get out of the experience. Personally, when I graduated from undergrad, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but one of my goals was to learn Spanish, so I chose to go teach English in South America. Or maybe you studied abroad in Europe and you want to go back to Europe. So whatever your intention is, there's opportunities really all over. Each country has their own process. So South Korea, for example, they use recruiters. In South America, you actually have to go directly through the school. So there's a couple ways you can go about it. The easiest way, in my opinion, and I'm not biased, is to go through a TEFL certification course.
I did a study abroad in college. Having that experience was very helpful for me to both make the decision to do the master's degree, but also to get into the program. And I think a lot of people who I went to school with had like summers abroad or some sort of abroad experience, whether it was work or study, which is really what got them interested in pursuing it more as a permanent career. So I think any experience, even if it's a few months or a year, whatever it might be, is helpful just to see if you like working with international populations.
Well, thank you guys for having us. You guys inspired us. So it actually was Lauren as well, who is our Director of Marketing, who is taught in Chile.
Yes. So most of our offices, almost all of our office has lived and taught abroad ourselves. So we've lived the experience.
So what do you tell students who are majoring in, every other thing from photography to, accounting and
right.
What do you tell them about an international
Typically,
experience?
depending on where you want to teach, the most important thing is that they want you to have a bachelor's degree in any discipline. And where we come into play, we offer a TEFL certification course. And so that gives you the specific training. So whether you majored in finance or, anthropology, this trains you in what to do when you're actually teaching. What was the other part of your question? I'm sorry.
Just the timing, kind of the commitment.
Okay, so totally depends on the country as well. And we have a really useful, we call it our country chart, and it breaks it down country by country, the different contract lengths. If you're a good teacher and you show up to work and you do your job, they're going to want you to stay. But one thing, if you've never traveled abroad or you're intimidated by it, keep in mind no one's holding you there. So if you're homesick and it's too much culture shock, you're always welcome to go home.
One thing I would say is that you don't necessarily have to know the language of the students who you're teaching. You're not necessarily translating. So it's sort of, I think, taking a course if you've never taught before in terms of how someone learns a language and certain practices or skills that you can teach them without necessarily translating words, but more activities, interaction, and things like that to learn the language instead of just sort of vocabulary or grammar lessons.
Some people do it in between undergrad and grad school. Some people go on to work in business. A lot of people come back to Chicago and work in the ESL community. So it really depends, but I would say one of the biggest things is, it's a talking piece on your resume, and it also shows that you are brave and you're courageous, because not everyone, has the guts to go move abroad. So I'd say nowadays, it makes you stand out.